Hello everyone, welcome again to the Inspiring Heart Show. And today it's a very special day for all the Jesuits and for all the people those who are in social action, because today marks the 4th death anniversary of Father Stan Swamy. And on this auspicious day, we have a very special guest on the show. We have Fr.Antony Raj here with us today from Jamshedpur province. Father, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. So I am Father R. Antony Raj. I belong to Jamshedpur Jesuit province, as Stan was. Stan was also belonging to the same province. So I had the privilege to be part of this province, and moreover, I had the opportunity to live with him the same community. So Father Stan Swamy was involved in social action ministry. But most of the time I have not seen him in the community. He used to be always out, away. Therefore, I was wondering. But one day I had the privilege to meet him after the supper. We were taking a walk, and I gathered a courage to ask him, "How come, Father Stan, I don't see you many days, and are you here?" He smiled at me, and then he said, "Tony, you are correct, but I prefer to live among the people. So I am living in a rented house, not in the community, but out there in the town, living with the people." Because the type of social action ministry that I am involved in demands from me that kind of identification with people. Suppose I am here, the ministries that you are involved here, this being a multi-apostolic community, there is a school, pastoral work, hope, publication, TRTC, the Tribal Research Institute, all these works are here. And moreover, school is institutionalized ministry, whereas I am in the non-institutionalized social action. And moreover, the police, the bureaucrats, and people like that come after me, looking for me, searching for me. So if I am here, it will be a disturbance to you. Therefore, I choose to be outside, but with people, staying with them, living with them. Then I understood why he has been absent for so many days and all that. And then moreover, I went ahead, asking him another question. "Yeah, Stan, I heard that very rarely you make home visit." So once again he smiled at me. "Tony, you are correct. Because ever since I came to Jamshedpur or came to Jharkhand, these people, these tribal people became my people. So my people are here. Why should I go to south?" So that I was in a way touched by that, his sense of commitment. But all the same, he went on to narrate his experience. So for many years he had not gone home for a home visit as we do. But then he said one day his sister rang him up and she told him, "Brother, my daughter is getting married, so you must come because I am a widow." So Stan went for the marriage. Yes, here is Stan, the one who closely imitates Christ. Christ was closer to the poor, the widows, the marginalized. So he had a heart for that sister who is a widow, and he made it a point to go for that marriage. And he's a man of deep spirituality, and he had love for the Society of Jesus and love for his Jesuit companions. The summer time, when the province have summer get-together, he used to come. Even that time also I had a chance to interact with him, listen to him. Once in the XLRI, the elite institution that we have in the province, he was there and we were discussing many things. And then he looked at the reading stand and he said there was a name written XLRI. Then he suddenly got up and said, "Can we remove that nameplate?" I was a scholastic, so I did not understand what it was. But then what he meant was, we are talking about tribal people, the poor, the oppressed, but sitting in the elite and elite institution, the big hall with all the comforts and conveniences. How is it? No? So it made a sort of commotion among the Jesuits present there. But I began to understand how he takes side with the poor, the Adivasi people. He was a man who had a special love for these tribal people. As Father Marianus Kujur writes in a book, Stan is not tribal by birth, but Stan is a tribal by choice.
That's a clear distinction.
Correct, yeah. So he chose to be with the people. He made those people his own.
Where was Stan from, Father?
Stan was from Tamil Nadu. There is a place called Viragalur closer to Trichirappalli. He comes from there, and I think initial formation he had in Madurai province.
Okay.
But then he, right from the beginning onwards, he
wanted to be a missionary.
Missionary, so he came over to Jamshedpur and he joined.
So the initial motive is very clear, to serve people.
Serve people, no? Experiment and experience. This plays a vital role in the human formation as well as the formation of religious Jesuits. No? Therefore, also the novitiate, the life in the novitiate consists of 5 experiments. First of all, we do the month-long exercise, spiritual exercise, and get affected, and that we fall in love with Christ. Secondly, we do the community experiment. Okay, at the end of the spiritual exercises, I am given the mission.
Yeah.
I alone cannot achieve. That means I need a community. Can I live in the community? So that is another experiment.
And these days we talk about community is also a mission.
Mission, yes. Community was for the mission and is mission, like that. No? And of course, thirdly, we are given another experiment, poverty experiment, or experience. I went to the village. Some people have the experience of earn and live. You have to work for your survival and you learn. And some people go to somewhere and then you be with the poor people. So poverty experiment. Fourthly, you are also asked to be with the sick people. See, like in our province, we had the chance to live with the leprosy patients, caring for them.
MC brothers.
Yeah, MC brothers. Then, of course, the fifth one is you teach catechism to the children. When faith is given to the children, as they grow, faith also grows. They be a strong Christians. So that is the idea. So experiment or exposure is necessary, in and through which a person is affected. So Father Stan Swamy, as a young priest, he was sent to a village. He lived among the Ho tribal people.
Ho tribe?
Ho.
Okay.
Ho tribal people in Jharkhand. While he was exposed to that exposure, he was positively affected by the very many values of the tribal people. Commonality, having everything in common, sharing, consensuous decision making, and deep love for the nature. So many good values Stan witnessed, and he was very much affected positively by that. At the same time, he was also affected negatively or felt disturbed by the injustice, atrocities, displacement, and many negative things that were happening to the tribal people among whom he was living. That made him to go into a deeper depth study. So he started studying about the culture and custom of the Ho tribal people. And then he started studying their rights and privileges as it is enshrined in the Constitution of India. So these all things enabled him to really give himself totally to these tribal people of Jharkhand.
Okay.
So that was the beginning. So ever since, it is more than 30 years, he started committing himself for the people and fighting for their cause. Because the outsiders are coming, exploiting, and they are taking away the very source of life from these tribal people. So for them, jungle, zameen, water, forest, and the land, these are the source of life for them. So I remember also in one of our summer province gathering at XLRI, once again, we were discussing about tribal people there, how we can help them, and about their development. And in that context, they started saying, fine, we can also work for the just compensation. Their land will be taken for the development project. Whether they will benefit or we don't know, but country will develop, development. Then some of our Jesuit brothers started saying, yeah, development is good. Let us work for development. And then they said,
compensation
yes,
to the people.
We will work for just compensation. So I saw Stan, he got up and he said, there is no compensation for life. If you take away these three, water, forest, and jungle, or land from the people, they will die. So there is no question of compensation.
Yeah.
Allow them to exist, allow them to live. It is their right to live. So this was Stan, very strong. So I was so much taken up by his conviction, and what he said was true.
Yeah, it's human beings don't survive only by empowerment. I mean, money alone.
Exactly.
They also need. You also need to teach them how to survive, how to earn, how to live with the dignity.
Exactly. See, like fish of the water. Suppose you take away the fish from the water, water will give something good food and all. Fish will not survive.
Of course.
Similarly, if tribal people are taken away, deprived of their land,
identity,
their land, their forest and resources, they cannot live. So he said there is no compensation for life. Life is life. Life cannot be compensated. So that was again another experience that I had personally. That he was convinced that there is no compensation for this. Life sources are taken away, then life is gone, they are dead. There is no compensation. So then nobody could say anything, all kept quiet. So this is how he went ahead, committing himself. At the same time, he was also convinced that people who have the same values, there are many groups, human rights activists and social activists of, many groups, they were also sort of having the same values, and they were also having the same conviction, they were also working towards. So he somehow encouraged all of them to work together for this particular cause, that tribals are deprived of their rights and privileges, that we should get back. So that was his conviction. He went ahead working for these poor tribal people. So this is the experience and experiment he had, exposure, and that made him to commit himself, and he went to the depth study and started contributing and living for them. He went ahead living with these tribal people.
No, when you mentioned about him working with other social action people, those who are involved in it, now how did he understand social work? You could have run NGOs, you could have run charitable institutions. Those people who fought for the rights of people, they could have, like many others, could have run any NGOs. What made them to take that stand? And what was Stan's understanding of social work?
A very good question. See, exactly. When I was talking to him as I was walking after the supper that day, somehow something happened to me. Then I told him, Stan, I feel attracted to the social action. I would prefer to work like you. Then once again he smiled at me and said, Tony, you are good. I appreciate it. You see, as you see the poor people, the oppressed people, you feel moved. Then you may reach out to them, helping them, giving some financial help, economical help, and giving something for, for their welfare, for their upliftment. Very good. But that is one kind of social work. That is more of charitable work. And many people will be able to do that. They have plenty and they may give from their abundance. You will get it. You may do the fundraising. So you may extend financial help or support to them. That is one kind of social work. But and there is another kind of social work in which I am involved, he said. That is, the basic thing will be questioned. Why they are poor? How come they are have-nots? How does it exist in the human society? One side haves, another one is have-nots. How is that? So when you question that, you will be targeted.
That's a very existential question.
Yes.
Which people more often try to cover.
So you are asking the basic question, unjust structure, injustice done to them, then you will be targeted, persecuted, perhaps even you will be killed. Are you ready? So Tony, you choose. These two kinds of social work is there, but the work that I am involved in questions the basic injustice, the structural change. So that is something more challenging. So now you decide. He left it to me. So when he was among the people, living among the people, poor people, he saw the injustice done to them. And he has witnessed that even in the weekly markets, in the Chaibasa town, they will bring the forest products. They have at home chicken, or they have whatever the vegetables or potatoes, whatever they produce in their own farm, their own kitchen garden, whatever, they will bring it to the small little town to sell it. Whereas these, outsiders, the so-called zamindars or landholders, whatever, the rich people, they will come, they will harass them. And they will take away the things and just throw some money to them. And these poor people did not understand, and they were, in a way suppressed. So having seen all this, he was convinced that how come in the Constitution of India, these tribal people have these rights, privileges, and that are denied to them. And moreover, somehow the ruling class seems to believe that these people are oppressed people, suppressed people. They have no human dignity. That's how they look at them. That's why they begin to oppress them again. So seeing all this, Stan was convinced. And he said, no, they have their rights, they have their privileges, that has to be once again restored and given to them.
Were the lands of the people are also taken away from them?
Yes, of course. See, slowly these landlords or the outsiders started coming in. And then they produced false documents.
Oh, false documents.
Exactly. You see, when I was a novice, I was in the village for about a month. And I asked one day, they were talking very nicely. I learned the language Ho, and we were talking. And I asked, so what is this? Then the one family was telling, Father, from here to there is my land. From there to there is their land. Then I was asking, what about any paper or... They said, no, what paper you are talking about? This is our land. From here to here, my land. That is his land, her land. So this is the way they owned the land. So it is easy for the outsiders to come in and make false documents and even change the names, and they will take away the land.
Yeah, taking advantage of someone's ignorance.
Ignorance.
For the tribals, I think for generations after generations, more than paper, what meant to them more was a word.
Word, as well as they trust each other. No? Yes. And it is it's a community living. That's something like early Christian community. They had everything in common. So even land is in common. So, but we, for the sake of our families, you take that, we take that. This is how they have been living. A beautiful value that they have. So this is, that's how the outsiders came in and started exploiting. So seeing all that, Stan said, no, I will be for these people. So seeing his commitment, his preference, his perseverance in this struggle to get the justice done to the tribal people, the ruling class perhaps got frightened. And they knew very well he cannot be tolerated. That's how they implicated him to the Bhima Koregaon case. Where is Jharkhand, where is Maharashtra? But they got this Stan implemented or associated with that case and arrested him.
But actually he had no connection to it. Right?
Nothing. Yeah. But they just wanted to get rid of him. That was very clear. They took him away, and then of course he was denied of many things. So he could, and a senior person who was suffering from Parkinson and all, even the basic straw and things, he could not even hold the vessels and eat or drink. Even those things were denied to him. But yet he said very boldly, even the caged bird sings. Yes, he started singing gloriously even in prison, through his life, through his commitment, through his values.
The threats he was receiving that you were saying, no, Father?
Yeah.
No, that implantation, or what was the threat like? And how often? Was it very frequently he was receiving the threat since the moment he was working with the people? Or what was the starting point?
Yeah, see, one concrete example I have seen. One day some police came and they were harassing the people. And then he went and talked to them on the street. And these fellows were saying, they were also little frightened because he is giving the point, quoting and the law and all that. And they said, what can we do? तो ऊपर से आया है, like that he was saying. So Stan looked up. ऊपर कहाँ से आया? What they meant was, of course, their higher authorities have asked them to do. So he was not frightened. He will always say very clearly, but all his arguments will be logical, based on the constitutions, and he was well versed in the constitution, the rights of the tribal people. So therefore, they were after him. So how to get rid of him? So that was the thing that. So wherever he went. So I was also told, since these things are coming up again and again, he was first asked to go to south, to be away sometime.
Because he was receiving a lot of threats?
Yes.
Life threats?
Yes. So in a way, of course, we are also concerned about the person. So the province asked him. So he went to south, but he could not. He came back. Had he not come back, perhaps he might be leaving now. But yet he could not, perhaps. A man who lived with the people, for the tribals, he could not. So he came back, and once again he joined this Bagaicha and started. And he also was convinced of interdependency. So he would, in a way, challenge the institutions like XLRI. But at the same time, he would come and receive the help from the institution, especially at the end of the year, finance year, they have to clear the accounts. So XLRI would extend their financial support and clear. So that was Stan. But then where he has to challenge, he will challenge. Where he has to raise his voice, he will raise.
He was very righteous for that matter.
Yes. So that is again a man who was, in a way, had a deep love for Christ, at the same time love for his companions. So that also kept me inspiring.
Father, earlier you were mentioning the Bhima Koregaon case. And what was the allegation of the NIA on Stan Swamy? in relation to this Bhima Koregaon case?
In Bhima Koregaon, the people were celebrating, especially the Dalits, they were celebrating the 200th anniversary of the victory that they had over the upper caste. So when they were celebrating, they were instigated, and then there came a sort of fight, violence. So in that violence, many were attacked. So there they brought in the many
Activists.
were brought in an activist who was supposed to be there, but though he was not there, they said because of this activist who instigated, these people have behaved this way violently. So they were associating that. So in that they brought in also Stan Swamy. They associated, and then they said they filed a case along with these people.
But in 2018, this Bhima Koregaon
was celebrating that.
Celebrating that. Yeah. But was Stan Swamy there in 2018 in Bhima Koregaon?
No, he was not there. But then they were looking for some chance or some means to involve him and arrest him. No. So this was the right means that they found out. So that's how they sort of got him associated with this and arrested him. But of course, when they arrested him, brought him to Mumbai, they also brought all his belongings. They sort of took away, and especially his own personal computer in which he had all the informations or details or whatever files. But they were all manipulated, and they fabricated the thing.
Oh, you mean they fabricated the?
Yes, fabricated, and they inserted many of their own arguments. This was actually studied by the American news agents, and they found out the truth, and they made it known to the whole world that this was done. How his computer was manipulated, and they put into the computer their own arguments, and moreover also he was considered as anti-national and friend of a Naxalite. He did not have any relationship with the Naxalites, but then they accused him of being anti-national and friend of a Naxalite.
What was the charge that was pressed against him? Like, why was he not able to come out?
He was named as anti-national because he has connection with the Naxalites. Okay. That is one. Secondly, all the people know that he is raising the voice for the voiceless. And he knows very clearly the rights and privileges of tribal people, which is there already present in the Indian constitutions, which he studied, he had the full knowledge of it, and therefore he could argue, logically, which they could not stand. That's how they manipulated and fabricated all that files in his computer, and they arrested him. I had a chance to meet that lawyer who had come over to our college here after the meeting and everything. I asked him, or even during the session itself, during the discussion, I asked the question, okay, now everything is over, he is dead, what are you still busy with? That lawyer beautifully answered, Father, what you are saying is correct, but we will still go on till we prove
him innocent.
Prove Stan Swamy innocent. That is why we are still going on. So my question was, why? Man is gone. We couldn't do anything to save his life. And what is the use of still we are talking about and doing this and that? But he very clearly answered, we would like to prove to the nation, prove to the ruling class that he is innocent. So I believe even now also that is going on. The struggle, the ongoing struggle to prove to the ruling class that he is not anti-national. Therefore, for the people, especially the tribals and Jesuits and ordinary people, he is innocent. But for the ruling class, he is anti-national.
All those who raise voice against those who are oppressed are not anti-nationals.
Exactly.
And nationalism doesn't speak about the oppression of the people.
Yeah.
Nationalism also means that you uplift the dignity of people, that you treat everyone with equality, dignity, and with justice.
And just yesterday in the WhatsApp, I had one video. He's a journalist. He is telling, government is telling that Catholics are owning the highest, land, highest amount of land, and they are after us now. But this was, in a way, studied by a prominent MP, and he proved it wrong. This statement of the ruling class is wrong. So because of that, he was thrown out.
Thrown out of his own party. Okay.
But then this journalist who has given that interview or telling us, very courageous, and he says, come what may, I am a journalist, I will say what is true. The truth has to be spoken. And he said, he in a way challenged the ruling class, quoting all the good works like citing Mother Teresa and Stan Swamy, and so many people get educated, millions of people educated in India through the Catholic Church. All that he quoted, saying, what about the people who are accusing like this? What good they have done? These people have not done anything evil. They have done so much good to the people, and they are accused. So this is the fact today. But Stan Swamy never stopped raising his voice, and naturally he became the voice of the voiceless, and he continues.
The caged bird can still sing.
Yeah, he is singing gloriously also, and he is inspiring. He is living in the people of, the tribal people of Jharkhand, and he is with us. So, and our struggle for justice will not stop. We will continue.
Yes, exactly.
And he keeps inspiring us. Archbishop Oscar Romero said it before his assassination. Well, I will be risen. I will rise again and live in the Salvadorian peoples, he said. Similarly, Stan is risen and he is living in the tribal people of Jharkhand. He is living in the Jesuits. He is living in the people who try their best, who commit themselves for the justice, equality, and fraternity.
I truly believe that we have lost a gem when it comes to social justice, but it doesn't stop there. History will repeat itself, and we'll have many more Stan Swamis coming up who are already working for the people. And on this day, we'll also remember those people who are being falsely accused. Those who stood for the rights of people, they have been falsely accused and put still in the case. I think along with Father Stan Swamy, there were also other social activists who were jailed, and I believe they are still jailed. We pray for their families. Thank you so much, Father, for joining us in the show. And we request you that you remember us in your prayers and pray for those people who are being treated unjustly. Thank you so much, Father.
Thank you.